Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. And so today, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to do something a little bit different. And I have prepared a concept for the upcoming Tanabata festival. Obviously the game is pretty quiet at the moment. For Global, we are going to get the kickoff of the 8th anniversary in a few weeks time. But in between now and then, all there really is going to be coming up is the LR Super Boo. And obviously on JP, based on the timings of last year, any time within the next probably like 7 to 10 days, we should get some sort of information about what the Tanabata festival is going to be. So I've had a couple of different ideas for what I think would make a really good Tanabata celebration. So I want to do more than one of these videos. So let me know down below in the comment section if you guys have any ideas for what you would like the celebration to be themed around, and then maybe I'll make one of these based on that theme suggestion as well, because obviously, again, as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, this one is a design solely based around the theme of the Baby versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT. We still don't have a Dokkan Fest Baby in the game. We still don't have, I mean, I guess technically the STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku is the Goku who, you know, when he first goes Super Saiyan 4, because he's not in Shadow Dragon Saga. But, you know, he doesn't have the transformation animation or anything like that. So this is a couple of different things that people have wanted to see in the game for quite some time. And I think this could make for a very cool celebration with all the things that could come along with it. So, the main thing that I've done is we've got the details here for the Tanabata celebration for last year. I'm obviously using the JP one because not only is this going to come out on JP first, but obviously on Global, with the way they do the schedule, this often gets split up and the Part 2 LR comes out at a different time. So we're going to disregard that and just look at it as the whole celebration. So what I've done is I've gone down here and looked at the stuff that we get compared to last year. Now obviously I'm not going to go into like any details about like the login bonuses and the missions and stuff like, because obviously this would just be the standard fare for what we would see from any of these big celebrations, right? The main thing is that we will get a Dokkan Festival, which, as is now the routine, I guess, the tradition, will be a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR, and there will be a side banner unit, a new TUR. Then obviously during that celebration, this banner comes out that has the new LR and the anniversary units. We won't really talk about that, but we would obviously assume that this will still occur as well. There will be sales. Last year we had the Dragon Balls campaign. We could potentially have that as well. Obviously the cooperation, all of this stuff essentially that is like the missions, co-op campaign, like some extra items or tickets or things like that. I'm not really going to go into detail about that. I just wanted to talk about the units and the EZAs, because those are kind of like the main things that people want to see, right? We got a new Dragon Ball story, which would be, you know, cool to... Actually, this is an update to the old one. I think there was a new story event as well. A bunch of other story events return, EZAs return, all of this kind of stuff would happen. I didn't put too much thought into, like, will we get a new Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, although I assume we would. New Super Battle Road stages, a Battlefield reset, a chain battle. All of this kind of stuff could be included within the celebration, but isn't really the meat of what people are the most interested in, I think. Because, I mean, especially when it comes to chain battle, right? Not everybody's favourite mode. But the thing I was more interested in looking at is in terms of the units and the EZAs, what are the reasonable expectations for the celebration? So we have the new Dokkan Fest LR and the side banner unit in Part 1. And then as we scroll down and we look at the event, the celebration in its totality, we had a Super Strike revamp, so essentially a free-to-play EZA. And then we had 3 separate Extreme Z battles that incorporated 4 units overall, because obviously this one was an EZA for Geo Blue and STR Rose. And then we had 2 separate LR EZAs come out as well. And then, yeah, we have a Part 2 LR that will come out later on into the celebration that is directly related to the Part 1. That is the other big thing about these themes. If you want to suggest one, like I said, that could potentially be made into a video like this, you have to think about the fact that the Part 1 and the Part 2 LR traditionally have been units that like faced off against each other, right? So we've got Vegeta and Trunks, and then Zamasu. Was it the year before was the Tech, Gogeta and Janemba? So you kind of have to think about it from that standpoint, right? That these are the characters that faced off against each other. So straight away, we're going to jump in and talk about the part 1. Who is the new Dokkan Fest exclusive LR? Although I'm pretty sure now that I say that, I put that in the thumbnail as well. And in terms of the Dokkan Fest LR, I've decided for this that should be the baby unit, right? Because when it comes to Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, we obviously have a lot fewer extreme types than we do super types anyway. And one of the big complaints of the community that you see all the time is that extreme units and the extreme like side of the game in general needs to get more and bigger buffs. And one of the things that we can say when we look at these celebrations, like whether it's the anniversary, whether it's the worldwide celebration from last year, when the dust has settled and these units get placed into like LR tier lists and stuff like that, the Dokkan Fest LRs usually end up being considered better than the Yellow Coin or Carnival LRs. So I think it would be good for the health of the game. Obviously we want the Part 2 LR to be good, but I think it would be good if the extreme unit out of the two ended up being the better one. So the Dokkan Fest exclusive LR will be Super Baby 2, specifically Super Baby 2 and not like brackets Golden Great Ape. That will tie into obviously like the Easy A's for later on, but gives him a slightly different name. When we look at the teams and everything that he's on, Transformation Boost, Artificial Life Forms, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Inhuman Deeds, Space Traveling Warriors, Corroded Body and Mind, GT Bosses, Battle of Fate. So he's on a lot of categories that could definitely do with a strong extreme character buff. And then his link set, obviously this because this guy's unawakened, because he awakens into a Super Baby 2 Golden Grey Ape. We would obviously get Fierce Battle in here, but he needs to have Legendary Power as well. Now, I don't know if they only assume this because of him transforming into the Golden Ape and maybe that gives him like a huge power boost or whatever, but the Golden Grey Ape babies lose Coward for either Great Ape Power or the LR one has Legendary Power instead of Coward, because it then also has Shattering the Limit. So, in terms of making the Dokkan Fest, I know sometimes they will like just like blindly stick to these certain units have to have certain links all the time. But when you look at his link set, Coward is absolutely the one that we would want to lose if we have to lose one of these links. And you know, in the past, for the anniversary, hopefully they do this more in the future, but LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta lost Fused Fighter to get Saiyan Raw. And Saiyan Raw, him having that link is huge because of the extra stats that it gives, and he lost Fused Fighter, which is a link that you would assume he would always have, right? So we can get rid of Coward, give him Fierce Battle, and then Legendary Power. Now, I'm not going to go into details of how I would design his kit, but I think that's kind of a fun way for you guys to interact with these videos a little bit when I do the future concept ones as well. Let me know how you would design his kit. I know a lot of people want villains to get a new super strong slot 1 unit. I know a lot of people were disappointed that the new Turles isn't just a general support unit all the time, because obviously his intro animation is very difficult to get. So let me know how you would design him. The one thing I did think about was his leader skill. So looking at the categories that he has, and bearing in mind the fact that we have not yet received a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR that has more than 2 categories as the 170 and then 2 plus 30s, which was the 2 8th year anniversary units, I decided to give this guy Revenge as one of his 170s. Desperately needs a new leader, right? The only leader that actually even gives up to 170 is the AGL Bardock, and he is a super type unit. And then Corroded Body and Mind, which is definitely another team that needed a really good leader skill. Only Janemba is a leader that has a 170, because remember the LRs, we're looking at 150 or less, right? Now the reason I picked these two is there's a lot of units that would go onto his team that will be featured in this celebration that would not be on his leader skill if he did not have Corroded Body and Mind. Because I thought it would be kind of good for him to have GT Bosses, because GT Bosses desperately needs another better leader, but it cuts out a lot of the units that could be on his team, and so I think it would be better for him to have Corroded Body and Mind. Obviously in an ideal world, give him GT Bosses as well, but again, like I said, we haven't seen a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR that has 2 categories for the 170 and then 2 for plus 30, right? So his extra 30%, I brought up this thing here. I made his extra 30% inhuman deeds and artificial life forms. So his leader skill would be revenge and corroded body and mind, 170% to stats and 3 key, plus 30% characters that belong to inhuman deeds and artificial life forms. And you can see from this 200% lead, this includes all the metal coolers, golden freezer, Hachiyak is on there, all of the Goku Blacks would be on here, which I think is their first 200% leader skill. Broly's are on here, all the other baby units are on here. So there's a pretty decent selection of units that get the full 200%. Cells are on here as well. And then of course the two 170s being Revenge and Corroded Body and Mind give him access to a lot of other units as well. So let me know what you think of the leader skill. Again, if you want to come up with a design for his kit in the comment section, if you want to change his leader, let me know what you would make it. Obviously I wanted to try and be as inclusive as possible. So then we go on to his side banner unit. And a character that I think would be absolutely perfect for his side banner unit, especially considering they have no representation in the game whatsoever, would be the baby possessed Bulma. She seems like the perfect option for a support unit. The fact that they just dropped an LR Bulma that is the best unit in the game means they're obviously not, you know, shy of giving these characters who don't really do much fighting in the actual show a solid character. Even though I guess it doesn't make sense. I was thinking her super attack could be her in the like Blutz waves like tank thing, although I guess technically you wouldn't want to be shooting those at your enemy, but who knows. So if you don't recognize this as well, the wiki actually has like a fake wiki version where people make like fake cards. Because you can see down here there's a bunch of details for like categories that don't exist and stuff, but the only reason I've got this up here is it fits very nicely on the screen because it's the same wiki display and there's not really a lot of great images of the baby possessed Bulma that aren't just screen caps from the show, right? So she would be a great side banner unit. Obviously ideally we'd want her to be very strong, give her like corroded body and mind and revenge support, give her, you know, all these good abilities that we want from support units now, where, you know, if she's in slot 3 or you pick up a certain number of orbs, she gives support to the next rotation as well. And then I think she could be very good. Again, this is one of the reasons why I chose Baby's leader skill to be the way it was, because she would be on Corroded Body and Mind, but she wouldn't be on GT bosses. And I think the other Baby possessed units aren't on Revenge either. So that was one of the main reasons for giving Baby Corroded Body and Mind. So that would be the two new units. And then, of course, we move on to some easy A's. So, obviously, the big one straight away would be the LR Super Baby 2. This guy could be very, very good with an easy A. His kit, as it is quite basic. He just gets attack and defense. He gets extra ki and extra attack when there's a pure Saiyan enemy, and extra ki and extra attack when there's a hybrid Saiyan. And then obviously he can transform into a giant ape when you're on low HP. So this guy, the opportunities for him are there for him to get some pretty interesting things. Obviously crank up his basic stats a little bit, give him attack and defense when there are the pure and hybrid Saiyan enemies. And then even to, I think the extent, something would be quite cool. There's not a lot of events where you fight pure Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans at the same time. But I was thinking something like giving him extra abilities alongside these as well, right? So imagine if it was like attack and defense and some damage reduction or guard if there's a pure Saiyan enemy, and then attack and defense and then maybe like dodge or crit chance or something when there is a hybrid Saiyan enemy. And then in the event that you are fighting two of them at the same time, then obviously he could have both of those active at the same time. Plus, whilst it's unlikely, like we already talked about the events at the beginning, things like Infinite Dragon Ball History and stuff like that, I wouldn't want to just say, oh yeah, we're just going to get a new red zone in this Tanabata, because they haven't ever done that before. But, you know, could be something that would happen, and if we were going to release it in this celebration, it would make sense to actually have the first one that has like Goku and, you know, Gohan enemies and stuff like that, right? So I think that would be very, very cool. And then when he transforms into a giant ape, obviously give him some extra ki. He does get an extra ki per orb, which is nice, but maybe a little bit of extra at the start of the turn, or just give him 2 per ki sphere obtained would be pretty cool. Maybe a chance to additional, like you think about how good Orange Piccolo is, right? So giant forms can be good if they give them some extra abilities, right? So moving on to some of the other EZAs. Now, rather than including a ton of Dokkan Fests, we saw based on last year that we got one free-to-play EZA. Now, some people might disagree with me. I've had this discussion with people when we've talked about EZAs for celebrations before. I don't mind if we don't get Dokkan Fest units EZAing and we get like side banner units or free-to-play units, as long as those units are actually good. Like, I would much rather get like a sub EZA that becomes like a must-run unit on your team than a Dokkan Fest EZA that then everybody complains is mid and nobody wants to use, right? So EZAing a Dokkan Fest just for the sake of a Dokkan Fest, I don't see the point of that. As long as the units are good, then I think that's fine. So I would put in an Extreme Z area for this guy, the AGL Super Baby 1, because again, this is another unit with a different name. We could have our Dokkan Fest LR Super Baby 2, the LR Super Baby 2 Golden Ape, and this guy all on the same team. They all have different names. They share a lot of these links as well. We wouldn't want to get rid of links like Hatred of Saiyans, Metamorphosis, Thirst for Conquest, like from the Dokkan Fest. This guy is a complete blank slate. Supreme damage and then attack and defense 5000. So this guy, just completely revamp him, give him an EZA. And then we have the 3 baby possessed Hybrid Saiyans, Trunks, Gohan, and Goten. Yeah, I was right. So they're not on Revenge. This is why I gave the Dokkan Fest baby Corroded Body and Mind, right? Because if he was Revenge and GT bosses, none of these units would be on his team. Because unfortunately, they fumbled hard when they made GT bosses. GT Heroes is all of the super characters from GT, even like the, you know, Bulla, Pan, Giru. Like, I know Pan and Giru are more like main characters, but GT bosses only being the main villains and none of their henchmen really hurt that category, right? So now these guys are not awakened yet. They are only level 100, so they would awaken into URs, well, TURs, I should say, level 120, and then get EZAs. I know some people aren't fans of units getting EZAs straight away, but I mean, these guys have been in the game for like 6 years at this point, and they've not done anything with them. So I guess technically they don't have to EZA them straight away, as long as they make them good enough. But by EZAing them, they are obviously becoming level 140, so they have higher stats, gives the team higher HP if you want to use some of these free-to-play units. And then all of these guys have a pretty blank slate for their kit. As it currently stands, they are just support units that give... Trunks gives defense and ki, Gohan gives defense and ki. For some reason, Goten only gives ki. And they are currently restricted to typing. So you could just give these guys support that is physical or a category and just make them a different combination of babies ones, right? So one of them could be Corroded Body and Mind, one of them could be Terrifying Conquerors, and just make them good support units. We could add in our new story event to give them, to farm the medals to awaken them to TURs, and then it would be an Extreme Z area to get all of these guys up to being EZA'd, right? So then we move on to part 2. Now, I've talked about this before. I was hoping it would happen for Golden Week, but it didn't. I very much believe that the part 2 LR banner for the Tanabata celebration is going to be a Carnival LR, because we need another standalone Carnival banner, because we need this guy to be able to return. He came out in December on JP and February on Global, and he's not returned on a banner yet because we haven't had another standalone Carnival LR banner. So this seems like the perfect timing. It's like, what, 6 months after he came out on JP. Seems like the perfect time to bring him back. So the part 2 LR would be a Carnival LR banner with this guy featured. Carnival LR banners obviously have a couple of featured LRs, which means we can include units like the baby, although I guess they probably would do that separate EZA banner. They probably would throw units on there like the GT trio, even though it's not super ideal, but we obviously want it to be GT themed. Maybe throw on 1 or 2 like Revenge or Corroded Body and Mind LRs. Any of the units that appear on this like 200% thing that we already talked about, right? Like Golden Frieza would be pretty cool. Any of those units would be good if they were on the Carnival LR banner. So the part 2 Carnival LR is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku, as you can tell from the thumbnail. However, it's going to be the unit that I know a lot of people want to see. He will start out as Super Saiyan 3 Goku and then have the transformation transforming into a golden ape, and then immediately transforming into Super Saiyan 4. There's a bunch of different ways you could do that. I've seen people in the past say things like he turns into a golden ape for one turn and then turns into Super Saiyan 4. I think it would be better to just have the whole thing as one animation. Then you can have him transform into the Golden Ozaru. You can have the bit from the episode where Pan is there and like shows him the photograph, and then he transforms into Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think that would be pretty cool. Now, we haven't had a Carnival LR, I believe, that has a transformation like this, but I mean, we have Carnival LRs that have intros, that have active skills, that have revivals, so there's no reason why we can't get one that has a transformation, right? So, and we make the transformation nice and easy to get as well. Maybe make it like turn 4 or when below a certain amount of HP, which means if you're going into an event where you get blasted on turn 1, you can transform on turn 2. Again, I'm not going into super detail about the kit. You guys can let me know how you would design him down below in the comment section. But we would have Carnival LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And in terms of his leader skill, now it would be tempting to just say like, oh, you know, give him like Goku family or Kamehameha, which would be an absolutely insane 200% leader skill. But I feel like with the leads that we've seen from Carnival LRs so far, they have been kind of restrictive a little bit. I mean, I guess the AGL Goku does have Turtle School, which is most Gokus, but even that is a lot more restrictive than just straight up giving him like Goku family. I feel like they're trying to hold back a little bit and not give some of the best categories a full 200% leader skill. So the one that I thought of for this Carnival Super Saiyan 4 Goku would either be GT Heroes or Giant 8 Power. Now obviously Giant 8 Power is a much more restricted category. Would be pretty cool to have a new leader for it, especially with like the Heroes Super Saiyan 4s getting their EZAs later this year, the Vegito and the Broly. In Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta we'll get an EZA at some point in the future. The Great 8 Babies are actually on here as well, so I think that could be pretty interesting. We could even go as far as to give the Dokkan Fest baby an active skill, the LR one for the celebration. Could even give him an active skill where he transforms into the Golden Ape, does an attack, and then transforms back, and then because of the way Dokkan does their categories, he would then be on Giant 8 Power. So I think Giant 8 Power or GT Heroes would be a good 200% leader skill. And then to give us another EZA to come out in part 2, I know this is one that a lot of people really want to see, is this GT Super Saiyan 3 Goku that transforms into a Golden Grey Ape, because he is a support unit. Obviously we would buff these stats, give him attack and defense support. He has Saiyan Raw. Like, this guy just works super well with other Super Saiyan 4 units, but you know, he's very old now and basically unusable, right? So this guy getting an EZA in part 2 alongside the release of the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku would definitely be very powerful. So there you go, that is the concept for a baby versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku themed Tanabata celebration. Dokkan Fest LR baby with a side banner unit, baby possessed Bulma, a bunch of EZAs for the baby and baby possessed units, and then the part 2 Carnival LR would be Super Saiyan 3 Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 4, with a part 2 EZA dropping for this STR Super Saiyan 3 Grey Ape GT Goku. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like I said at the start, if you want to give me some ideas on how you would design the kits for any of these units, do let me know. If you really want to go all out and design kits for all of them, then, you know, go crazy. I will read them all. I probably won't read them out in a future video, but I'll give some shout outs to people if I think they've dropped some interesting designs, and let me know what your thoughts would be for other concepts for the Tanabata celebration. I can tell you already the one that I'll be recording for tomorrow is going to be movie 10, which will be Broly versus Gohan and Go Bros. I think that could make a really cool Tanabata celebration. I did make a video speculating about that the other day, so I've already got that one planned out, so don't suggest that one. But if you have any other suggestions, let me know down below, and I will try and make a concept video like this for those as well. So even though I didn't go into detail about the unit builds, I hope you guys enjoy. I tried to go into as much detail as possible here about all the different units we could get, the number of EZAs we could get, all trying to match it up to a realistic expectation from what we got last year. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How excited would you be for this? I know some people out there are lukewarm to GT at best, but a new very powerful baby would be super good for a lot of these extreme teams. So let me know all your thoughts down below. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.